What's up guys, my name's Andrew. Today we're talking about static websites. What are they, how are they different from dynamic websites, and why are they such a big deal for small businesses? So the technology behind static websites is pretty awesome, but how do they actually benefit small businesses? I think there's a lot of perks, but the three main advantages are peace of mind, performance, and flexibility. Let's talk a little bit about this. If you own a small business website right now, chances are it's dynamic. What that means is when someone visits a URL on your website, say mybusiness.com/contact, their browser is going to send a request that says something like, "Hey, I'd like to see the contact page, please." If the page exists, the server searches your database for the content that it needs, then it takes that content and builds an HTML page, which is what the user ends up seeing. This is pretty cool. But the truth is that most small business websites don't change that often. So rebuilding the same pages over and over again is really inefficient, which can make your website much more expensive and way more difficult to maintain. That's where static websites come in. While a dynamic website will build a new page for each new request, a static website simply contains a package of flat HTML files for every possible page. When someone visits your website, they don't have to wait around for the page to be built because it's already been done. It's kind of like finishing a year's worth of homework before school even starts. So the technology behind static websites is pretty awesome, but how do they actually benefit small businesses? I think there's a lot of perks, but the three main advantages are peace of mind, performance, and flexibility. Let's talk a little bit about this. Before I started building static websites, I was actually working as a WordPress developer for almost 5 years. And while having access to thousands of themes and plugins was convenient, the process of maintaining dynamic sites always seemed like a major pain to me. My clients felt the same way. They just wanted a dependable solution, not the stress of endless updates that could break their site or leave them vulnerable to hacker attacks if they opted out. That's what's so great about static websites. Because they serve plain old HTML files, it's virtually impossible to get hacked. Static sites also allow you to use modern content platforms like Contentful or Prismic that are highly secure and require no maintenance. Peace of mind is huge for small businesses, and static websites make it possible to launch a project and then not have to worry about it until the next time you need to make changes. That's the way things should be. Page speed is one of the key factors that Google uses to rank websites, and that's because we all expect content to load quickly. If you make people wait around on your website, they're just going to go back to the search results and look up a competitor's site. To get a sense of how important page speed actually is, consider these results from a recent Google study. If your site takes 1 to 3 seconds to load, the probability of users leaving increases by 32%. If it takes between 1 and 5 seconds, the probability jumps up to 90%. Yikes. While speed can be a tall order for dynamic sites, it's super easy for static websites. As a WordPress developer, I struggled endlessly to keep my client sites loading in under 2 seconds, but my first attempt at a static site ended up loading in around half a second. I'll be honest, I didn't do anything special. The speed was just built in. This makes a huge difference for small businesses trying to rank higher in search results, but it can also make your website more effective because most people are insanely busy. So when you respect their time with fast loading content, you're much more likely to make sales and turn prospects into loyal customers or clients. If your business is using a traditional CMS like WordPress, Drupal, or Joomla, it's gonna be a real pain if you ever decide to switch platforms. This is because the front and back end of your website are tied together and they rely on plugins that only work with that specific platform. In contrast, static websites are headless. This means you can use completely different technologies to build the front end of your website and to store your content. So if you want to change your content platform, you can do it with only a few minor changes to the front end of your website. One other thing that makes static websites so flexible is their ability to scale. Lots of modern content management platforms and static hosts offer free tiers that allow you to deploy a website for free. That's great, but let's say one of your blog posts goes viral and your website gets slammed by thousands of visitors. A dynamic website will almost certainly crash as it fails to keep up with all of these new requests. And while you're scrambling to upgrade your hosting, all your users are going to see is a blank screen. On the other hand, since static websites are little more than a collection of flat HTML files, they can easily handle a lot of traffic, and they can even scale scale up or down automatically in a matter of seconds. So to wrap up, let me just be clear that static websites are not the best solution for every project. If you have a huge library of content or an app that's constantly receiving new data, a dynamic website might be a better fit. But for small businesses who want a high quality website without the usual stress and technical limitations, static sites are a great option. They've exploded in popularity in the past few years, and I think that's only going to increase as more businesses discover the advantages over dynamic sites. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any thoughts on running a static website or questions on building one, drop a comment below. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be posting new small business videos like this every week. So until then, see ya.
When the morning